King Charles expressed his deepest sympathies to the victims of the horror knife attack in Southport as he met with survivors of the stabbings and their families. Arriving to loud cheers and applause from the waiting crowds, the 75-year-old monarch viewed the displays of floral tributes outside Southport Town Hall before heading inside for a private meeting with the children, their families and others who were attacked at the Taylor Swift-themed dance workshop on July 29. 3 children, Bebe King, 6, Elsie Stancombe, 7, and Alice de Silva Aguirre, 9 were killed in the knife rampage, while 10 others, including 8 children, were also seriously injured. Riots erupted in Southport and other parts of the country following the attack, apparently fueled by claims on social media that the alleged killer was an asylum seeker who had arrived in the UK by boat and a Muslim on social media. The disorder included looting, with hotels housing asylum seekers also attacked before counter-demonstrations appeared to quell the disturbances. The king has interrupted his traditional summer break at Balmoral Castle in Scotland to travel to Merseyside today. He was met by Dr. Ruth Hussey, the Vice Lord Lieutenant of Merseyside, and Councillor June Burns, the Mayor of Sefton, and appeared taken aback by the large makeshift memorial dedicated to the victims, gesturing in appreciation at its scale. He stopped to shake hands with some of the members of the public and told one woman, "Look at all the flowers," and said he hoped people had not been waiting too long. Lindsay Hislop, 43, asked the king about his health and how he was feeling as he continues to undergo cancer treatment. "I'm not too bad," he replied. Other members of the crowd appeared visibly moved and were in tears as the king stopped to speak to them. The colorful display of flowers, plants, cuddly toys and balloons outside the town hall has been maintained ever since the attacks, with the soft bears and dolls regularly collected by local volunteers and redistributed in dry weather. His Majesty was then shown inside to meet the children and adults who witnessed last month's attack, as well as the family liaison officers who have been supporting those affected. He spent about half an hour with the survivors and their families before signing a book of condolence that was opened shortly after the attack. The king used his own fountain pen to write his name and the date, adding, "In deepest sympathy." Charles was then introduced to several local volunteers and business owners who have dedicated time and resources to the community. Jenna and Anthony Johnson, a brother and sister who run Treviso Ice Cream, were also introduced to the king. They handed out free ice creams to residents living in the Sussex Road area near the mosque that was targeted in the riots. Mr. Johnson said afterwards, "It was nice for the children whose homes had been destroyed and they didn't know why. It brought people out to chat together, creating a space where there was no fear. One little girl said she hadn't left her house but came out to get an ice cream." Charles was also introduced to Angela Bailiff, 48, a cleaner at Southport Football Club whose 7-year-old granddaughter witnessed the attack and was among those meeting the monarch inside the town hall. Ms. Bailiff said she had organized for all of the condolence cards attached to the flowers left in tribute to be laminated and collected in folders and on pinboards donated by 5 local shops. The king then went on another walkabout as he was determined to meet as many members of the public as possible. Max, 8, gave His Majesty a small red silk heart he had made himself, prompting the king to gently pat his head in thanks. The monarch was also given some pink hearts crocheted by a woman called June, who asked him to give them to Kate and Charlotte. "I will," he promised. Others clapped and cheered as he shook their hands. "Thank you for breaking your holiday, sir," one woman said. "Thank you so much for coming, it means an awful lot," said another.